So there's a lot of movies and TV shows and media about LARP and role-playing. So there's Westworld, there's La Belle Epoque, there's Rental Family now. But I want to say that the 2013 movie Austenland is one of the most interesting movies and treatments of LARP out there. One of the things is that it's set in the present day. It's not like completely science fictional. It doesn't use magic or technology like Westworld. It is a movie about LARP. Now, if you haven't seen this movie yet, good for you. But also, I apologize for the spoilers. It's a nice movie. I apologize for the spoilers, but it is 13 years old. So, maybe we've gone past the restriction on that. So the movie is about a woman called Jane, who is so obsessed by the novels of Jane Austen that she wants to inhabit them. And so it is a romantic comedy, but weirdly, it is trying to make a really interesting point about the power and risks of role-playing. And in particular, this movie sort of tells us how LARP is treated in popular culture. Even though they actually don't say the word, they never say the word LARP, they certainly don't even say the word role-play, amazingly, in this movie. So this is the proprietor, Mrs. Wattlesbrook. She doesn't have a first name in the movie, very strange. And she calls Austenland the world's only immersive Austen experience. We know that's not true. There are other Austen experiences. And this is very affordable, 200 euros, 700 euros. Austenland is quite a bit more expensive. When Jane goes to a travel agent and is basically talking about how much it costs, she is told that it will cost her entire life savings. Now, I'm just guessing, that's like tens of thousands of dollars, like $30,000. So that's a proper blockbuster LARP. It's worth it because she's told it's a life changer. Right, and this is kind of interesting. So the travel agent says, look, you'll come out of this just a completely different person. It's transformative. And so, she's getting a bit of side eye here, but she's a sympathetic character in this movie, right? It is a funny movie, but we are not laughing at her. We are on her side. And it's not seen as an inherently silly thing to do. So Jane buys her ticket. She goes to the UK. Of course, it's in the UK. Goes to this amazing place. Before she enters the world of Austenland, she learns about her character. So she's given a name. She's kind of shocked, being given a name, Miss Erstwhile, Jane Erstwhile. And it's very Finnish design, I think, because you have a predetermined character backstory, you have predetermined relationships, predetermined plot. Everyone is guaranteed a happy ending, so there's a bit of dramatic irony in there, maybe. But the more you pay, the better ending or maybe the different character you get. So it's not necessarily better. She has paid for the bronze package, even though she's paid $30,000, and that only gets her the character of a penniless orphan. Whereas the platinum elite package, you get to be a rich heiress, and I think that's probably $100,000 or something. That's real Star Wars hotel territory, and so it's a really stratified experience. And I think this is what Moholkar would call an experienced LARP. It's a highly structured experience with pre-designed plot structures, somewhere in between a traditional immersive experience or immersive theater on one hand, and a sandbox LARP on the other. It's somewhere in between. So this is kind of what a non-LARPer would think a LARP might be like, a really expensive one. So you have feasts, you have horseback riding, you have piano playing, you have shotgun shooting. This is pretty anachronistic. I don't think ladies would be shooting shotguns, but it's fine because it's a LARP and it's fun. But despite all of that excitement, there's actually, in the movie, you see serious pacing problems actually with this LARP. Because it's 3 weeks long, and there's only 3 players. So here they all are. They're just really bored. They're doing needlepoint and sewing for the second week or something. And so you can't do shooting all day. So actually, I was thinking, how are they going to solve this? What's going to happen? So the designers, firstly, 2 things happen. One, the designers introduce Captain George East from the West Indies, an NPC. There's lots of NPCs, and he mixes things up because someone's in love with him. And then Jane, she like blossoms into a true Nordic LARPer. She says, "I'm going to take charge of my story," and she modifies her own dress. She's like, "I'm not going to wear this crappy dress that you gave me," and she uses the LARP as a kind of alibi to act more adventurously. And so there's lots and lots of NPCs. The whole place is powered by NPCs, and they're all working extremely hard. So they have an amazing backstage. And so, like, I hope everyone making blockbuster LARP like Chaos League give their NPCs this kind of pool area. But you know, one of the challenges of Austenland is that it is a romantic, immersive experience, right? You know, you are guaranteed romance, and there are clear rules at the start about touching. So like you're only allowed touching for like the necessary social graces, and they're like, that's not what they're doing here. But there's like no workshop. Like it's a 3-week-long experience, and like there's like 0 minutes of workshop that they show on screen. So like Jane gets in there and she's like, I don't know how to talk to people. I feel really embarrassed. It's like, you could have like solved this. We've solved this. People are very self-conscious. And so players and staff are actually both really concerned about the idea of bleed, about the idea of like getting in over their heads and sort of mixing fiction and reality. This is a quote from the movie. Are they acting? I don't know what's real or what's not anymore. I mean, what if she's really in love with him? Do you think it's possible to confuse truth with fantasy? So they sort of lack the vocabulary. I mean, even though they've been like doing this for ages, like no one has like looked into a KP book. And so there's no meta techniques, there's no safety mechanics. Worse, Mrs. Wattlesbrook, she's like a character in the LARP. Like, I guess you can do that, but like it's probably not a good idea since like she's like got a lot of power and like no one wants to go and piss her off because she's like throwing people out of the game. And so when people have problems in the LARP, as Jane does, then they kind of don't want to go and talk to her about it. And so because she's like trying to be a figure of authority in there. And without spoilers, this is kind of the reason why Austenland ends up being turned into a theme park by the end. Like it cannot survive as a blockbuster LARP. That it just turns into this sort of boring theme park with like a roller coaster and all these different things. Now, I want to say, obviously, Austenland is a romantic comedy. That's kind of why they have all this like just absolute wild stuff going on in terms of interpersonal relationships. There's always going to be a lot of drama. But I think the movie actually does recognize the appeal and the potential of roleplay. I think people will watch this movie and they think, this actually looks fun. Like, you know, it doesn't look that silly. The friendships made during the LARP actually persist beyond and when it turns into a theme park. But ultimately, the big shame about the movie is that like at the end, it kind of throws up its hands. It says, actually, there's no good way of doing romantic roleplay, so we better not do it at all. We just turn the whole place into a theme park. And that's a shame, because I think there's actually a potential in having more movies and more TV shows that sort of go and be interesting and take seriously the idea of LARP and roleplay and immersive experience. And if they ever do make an Austenland 2, hopefully they'll get into the workshop experience. Thank you.